He knows what you're thinking.
Yes.
You know what? I believe He loves people that'll really be honest with Him. Because He can work with them and deal with them. It's the ones that won't and keep these facades up and say, no, it's all great, it's perfect, it's wonderful. No, the whole time they know everything's falling apart. And if we believe that He is, we come to Him believing that He is, and He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him, then we're going to know, hey, you can handle this. But I said, in myself, you might as well just give this up. By that time they quit praying and dropped their hands. I thought, well, y'all heard me. I'm serious. That's what I thought. Because I didn't say a word, but they did. I mean, immediately when I thought that, they just stopped, dropped their hands. But what happened was my daughter started just gently tugged ours back. Me and the other guy that was over there. The Holy Ghost hit me. I mean, come down in that place, and all of a sudden something that was dead was made alive again. I mean, it was alive. There was life came into that place. And I'm standing there just weeping and crying, and I'm thinking to myself, what happened here? I mean, a minute ago it was dead as it could be. Now all of a sudden there's life in here. There's a movement of the presence of God. And so then I look over at the other guy, because I'm thinking, maybe it's just me. I want to see it. I looked over at the other guy. He looked like he had a hold of a 220 wire. I mean, that guy was crying. He don't never cry. He was just crying, going off, and I thought, man, this is, you're so messed up mentally with all this going on. I thought, I don't even know what's happening here. But I had my little girl back. I did.
Yes.
I had her back. She's like 4 or 5 years old at that time, because that's the way her attitude was. You know what I'm talking about? You get those walls built up between your children. But then when they let them go, they get saved, it's like having them when they're 4 or 5 years old again. That's what I had for 2 weeks. But I'm telling you, I know about all things. But He told me that it was nothing personal. And I got upset. I really did. I got upset. I got to say that I went off in that car. And He told me something that I'll never forget. And this is how I live with that. I mean, I know where she's at. I don't know how people can't live with it when they don't know. I see some things that was fortunate in our life. We had 2 weeks. Most parents don't have no time. We had 2 weeks. I seen it. I know what happened. So, I mean, it helped. It still didn't completely take away the pain. And I remember just yelling and going off. And He said, Tony, it was nothing personal. He said, you got to understand, when it's your time, I'm not going to consult your wife about it or your kids. He said, now that's just the way it is. He said, and here's the thing. I've seen people raised from the dead. I've seen people with bones put back. I've seen skin grow back over hands that was burned in 3rd-degree burns. I've seen a lot of things in my lifetime. But I understand this one thing right here, that nobody, no child of the King is going to go until it's their time. That's why Lazarus came back. It wasn't the time yet. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. I know it's appointed unto man once to die, and after that the judgment. I understand that. But I also know that I'm not leaving this world till it's my time now. That's just the way it is. And I was so upset because of her age, and I started in, and he said, you got to understand, it was her time. I said, okay. I live with it, but I don't like it. Okay? But it's in all things. Now, what I was going to tell you is this. I inquired of Him sometime later, a couple, 3, 4 years. That was in 2004. And He spoke to me, and He said, you know what? You would never be the man you are right now without that.
Amen. Yes.
I don't like it, but it's true. It's true. Because I'll tell you, Paul could write that because he had been through some things. He knew what he was talking about. He knew that if he'll hold on to a nail-scarred hand, there's no way in the world that they'll ever let go, that he'll ever let go of him. He'll hold him until he goes through anything in this life. That's what he was talking about. I'm persuaded that neither death nor life, it doesn't matter what it is. He knew good and well that He's as real as anything I've ever gotten a hold of. And I've been further into the law and into the Pharisaical law. I understand it with a mindset. I know what it does, and I understand every bit about it. But one day when I was on the road to Damascus, and a man named Jesus said, Paul, Paul, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? me. And all of a sudden he came up and then he knew right then, this is that I've been searching for. I couldn't find it in the law. I couldn't find it in my pharisaical religion. And I'll tell you now, you'll never find it there today. The only place you'll find it is in a man named Jesus that says, it's I, it's I. Look unto me, says the Lord of hosts. That's the one you'll find. And he has it. Otherwise you won't get it.
Amen.
Let me show you. And then I'll close. I want to show you the depths of the grace of God. I want to show you the mightiness of the redemption. It's found right here. Verse 37. We quote it and quote it, but I don't know that we really got a grasp on it. And I want to endeavor to show you what God showed me in this. Didn't read it from a book. It's just something He just showed me one day. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through Him that loved us. Paul was trying to convey to this group of Christians and give them something so tangible, because you've got to understand the persecution that they suffered is nothing to where we are today. And the things that I suffered is nothing to what Paul suffered. And if he can tell them a truth that would root them and ground them so stably that they would not move in their faith, then that's what he would do. And here's what he's saying in this verse right here. I want you to get a picture of this in your mind. Somehow, I hope Holy Ghost help me do this, because I need to convey this where it's so vivid. It's the same as this when he said you're more than conquerors. Do we understand really what he's saying in that terminology? Because, see, we think about conquerors. We think about conquering things. We think about going out here and taking over. And you sing that song, taking back what the enemy stole from me. I went to the enemy's camp and took back what he stole from me. Yes, that's good and that's great. But what I'm trying to show you is this. When Paul said that and he penned this right here, it's the same as this. The day that you and I finally gave up and said, that's it, I surrender. And we came before a foot of a cross that was blood-stained. Here's exactly what took place. When he says more than a conqueror, it's the same as a warrior going in and taking over that he went to achieve, and that he was going to be victorious over. And he did. And all of a sudden, then what happens is he comes back with everything that he had, every bit of the spoils, and he stands there before somebody that had nothing to do with it and says, it's yours. More than a conqueror. You hadn't got to work for it. You hadn't got to do a thing for it. I bought it. I did it. It's yours.
Yes.
Free and clear.
Amen.
More than a conqueror. See, we sell this grace and redemption short sometimes.
Yes.
Because our God, Jesus Christ, can you imagine that's exactly what He did for each one of us? Because He's referring to you and I than more than a conqueror. So that's Him standing there and saying, everything that ever will happen in your life, all those things that, all things that'll ever happen in your life, doesn't matter what it is. Even now, the day you came to the cross and the foot of the cross and bowed down in a kneeling place and said, God, I know who I am. I know in me dwells no good thing. I know that everything I've got is rags. Every bit of things that I try for righteousness is nothing but filthy rags. I understand that. Then what happened is He looked at you and you thought that you were giving up everything. And what happened is He said, no, I'm giving you everything. And now anything that happens to you in your life, I hold the answer, because I have overcome the world and it is yours now. All things can be made right. More than a conqueror. That's who we are. We used to sing that song.